Okay, he's ready. Okay, so I need to do some refueling and set up for the next landing. So I will see you after a jump cut. Alright, we have a full fuel tank. We have just a little bit less than what it would take to fill up the rest of these. We have about 405 liquid fuel in the lander capsule. And we have 358 left in the big tank. I did remember to refill the monoprop. Alright, let's take a quick look at the map and see where we want to go this time. Sorry, I needed a drink of water. Alright. Okay, so we landed in the far side crater, we've landed in the east crater. Oh, no, that's the other side. So we saw, oh, we have this crater here, and we're about in position. So let's go ahead and find out what that one is. Let's go ahead and undock. Switch ships. Pull away just slightly. There's another pretty cool view. Use that for one of the end of the video montages, probably. Alright, so now we need to find our retrograde. It's not on the north-south line, it's on the west line there. Pull up our resources. Let's first check that we aren't going to, yeah, when we burn, we aren't going to run into our ship. Let's see if we can put it down in this crater here. It's probably far side. Twin craters, that's the east crater. Yeah, I think this is the far side. No, that was the far side crater. So this is something else. I think it's something far side, east, west, far side, something like that. Let's go ahead and find out. Do this retrograde burn. I'll do the trick, and then we'll cut our horizontal velocity. You guys have seen all this before. I'm going to get back to you when I'm on my final approach. So, jump and cut. Okay, here we go for the landing. Might be inside this big crater there. Let's go and cut this down to something reasonable. Get the surface. Okay, so we're horizontal now. Get landing lights on. I forgot to retract the gear when I took the ship up and docked it. Considering I bumped it once with the gear, that may have been part of the problem why it took so long to dock last time. Alright, I'm liking this. This should be relatively flat compared to these slopes. Got a little bit of make sure I don't have too much of that horizontal velocity here. Under 10, which is always good. And touchdown. Alright, nice landing. Kind of a slope, and I stayed away from the big slope stuff. Alright, let's find out where we are. Crew report. East far side crater. Okay, I thought it was something like that. Alright, Goopod. 40. 100. EVA from the ladder. 24. Board. And now EVA. From the ground. You see Kerbin? No, we're on the far side. So that makes sense. That makes sense. We'll never see Kerbin from this crater. Alright, he's a Billy Bobless is a happy guy. Alright, let's do your EVA report from the ground. And your surface sample. Plant the flag. Moon landing 4. East far side crater. This is getting pretty easy now. Alright, famous last words. He is very, very happy. But it's time to go back up to the space station. Oops, I almost forgot the temperature reading. Oh, I have to do that from inside. That's fine, but remember... Get back inside, spin this around. Yeah, this location is a pain in the butt, so let's change that for a Minmus lander. Actually, let's... Again, so we don't have to do it for more, but let's go ahead and grab these experiments and put them in the capsule right now. Alright, let's go back to the station, guy. It still says target, which is nice. And our 90-degree line is there. Leaving our flag well behind. Let's get this up to the right altitude. Set a maneuver. Oops. Get rid of that. Oh well, I'll see you guys when I get close to the station. Jump, cut. Okay, hope this is final approach and not a bunch of shenanigans I have to try to correct. Looks like my alignment's good. How close? Whoops, too close, too close. Pull back just a little bit. Move off to the side. A lot of concentration here. Alright. Plenty of distance now. I can start closing that in again. Alright, put that on the opposite side of the pink marker, and that will drift us towards the docking port. 0.4 meters is not too bad. Kind of a bit of a twist here to it, from I think from the orbital. Let's make sure I don't slam into it. Alright. Just... What's going on there? I'm close. Now let's get these landing legs out of the way. And what am I doing? I'm still a little bit of ways and twisting. There we go, get a little bit of... Wow, that's not good at all. What am I doing? My fingers are all over the place on this keyboard. Let's freeze the space station. Let's see if we can get this to kiss now. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. There we go. Alright. Alright, I'm going to now spend the time cleaning out these experiments, grabbing them from the lander, putting them in the station capsule. I will see you after a jump cut. Alright, and we're refueled. We have Barwell in the capsule now. It's his turn to go land. But first, I left a little bit of fuel in here because I want to dispose of this by crashing it into the moon's surface. So I think that'll be enough to get us out of orbit. So let's go ahead, and I got as much monoprop out of here as possible. I'm going to waste a little bit. I have about a tank and a half here, but I have a tank here, and as long as I'm not derping up the docking, should be enough. I'll need to bring another one of these up. But anyway, let's undock this. Switch ships. This has a probe so I can fly it. RCS on. Let's go and back away. Get on a retrograde. And let's just burn this guy right down to a crash landing somewhere. Oops, that's right. I forgot I had deactivated the engine to prevent accidents on the station. Boom. Yes, and we are crashing. Excellent. How much? Yeah, I didn't need that much fuel, so now I know how much I can leave in the tank. Only took about 50. So did waste some fuel, did waste some monoprop, but have one less piece of debris to worry about. Alright, well that's doing that. Let's switch back to the moon station. And this time, I'm going to go for a polar landing. Undock. Switch ships. Just a very slight burn to get away from the station. And what I want to try to do is get up to this, like, one of these craters. The question is, how much delta V is that going to take? See, actually, it's enough to actually take us out of orbit. 718. We know it takes about 500 to slow down from orbit just to land. We still have to cut our velocity down and up. Whoops. That's actually not too bad, just to go straight for... Oops, too much. No, we passed it, so there's no point of... That's not too bad to actually get an encounter. So let's do it over here. And then we'd have to cut some of that out, and then twist it with this. Alright, that's not too bad. Can I get to that crater is a question now. Let's do this, and then once I get up here, I have a little control over where I land. This should be interesting. Alright, let's get on that marker, first of all. Where is it even? Alright, there we go. We are 9 minutes away from burn. It's a 1 minute burn. One minute, 2 seconds, so we'll do a 50% burn, half on each end. The question is getting back to the station. Will I have enough delta V to do that? That's the question. I'm not using up too much here. That's a good sign. Alright, that's not too bad. Gotta cut that down a little bit more. Just pure retrograde burn. Getting a little better at my landing, so I shouldn't use too much fuel for that. Alright, we'll cut our horizontal velocity up there. And then we can decide where to land from there. Alright. I will see you when I'm getting closer to the ground. Jump, cut. Alright, we are landing somewhere in this maze of stuff. Look how rough the terrain is up here. This should be interesting. We need to be really careful about where we put this sucker down. Alright, let's get on this. Let's start this retro burn. Get that down to a velocity we can control. Less than half fuel left. Landing gear down. Lights on. Go for more of a suicide burn on this one because not too unhappy with that landing spot. Okay, there's the ground scatter. Wow, look at that terrain. That's some rough stuff. Overdid the burn a little bit, but that's okay. Landing right next to a big rock. And touchdown. Somewhere on the North Pole, look at that. That's pretty cool. Alright, time for all the experiment stuff. You guys have seen this 100 times before, and we want to get all these moon missions out of the way for this episode so we can do some new stuff next episode, so jump cut. Okay, we have all our experiments, well, except for one. I forgot to reset. Fortunately, I had the extra goo pod, but I wasn't able to get the Science Junior experiment, so we did lose 100 science here, but that's okay. We got plenty more. So just make sure I remember to do... Yeah, I did remember to do that. Okay, so That's fine. Okay, we have precisely a third of a tank of fuel left. And we need to get back to the station with a large inclination change. This was just the highlands, so I didn't get any polar data. So I still have this crater to go to, and I think a pole. So I might try this again, but try to land in that crater. We still have some other things to do too, but let's try to get this guy home first. What you want to do here is we actually want to get kind of a really eccentric orbit and change our plane way out, away from the moon, because it'll take less delta V. Even though we extra delta V to go, you know, out to the higher apoaps. Or periaps. I always forget. But at the far distance, it'll take less delta V to change our inclination to match the space station. So hopefully we have enough fuel for all this, otherwise we'll have to bring up another ship. Actually, I should have saved... Oh, actually, you know what I do is I have that tug. That's actually the fuel thing on this, so I could go out and grab this ship with that. So we do have options. Let's see what I can do now for this, though. We just need to go south for a burn, which is that way. So, alright, ready? 3, 2, 1, lift off. Turn this over. Let's first get into... Can help our cause by getting a little bit of eastward motion with this. Nope, and I'm doing the exact opposite of what I said I should do. Alright, let's go ahead and stop it there. Want to get into a circular orbit, and then from the equator, extend out one of our... Extend the... So we used... Ooh, a lot of fuel there. How much to get into orbit? Not too much. Just barely want to get into a circular orbit. There we go. Actually get onto the burn line first. Alright, we used almost 20 for that. Alright, so now what we want to do is on there, let's first find out what it would take just to change, because that's 174, so I think I only have about 400 delta V left. So let's first see what it would take to get just a straight inclination change. So we have to do that, and we have to cut that back. Yeah, we're going up over 500 and I'm not even close yet. So let's try. Simply pulling our orbit way out. So that uses 100. Yeah, let's do that. So we use 120 there. And then, when we get out here, oops, want to bend it this way. No, we don't. we're coming down and around. We want to bend it this way. Alright, let's try it. Like I said, I have that tug on the space station I could go grab this with if this maneuver fails and I can't get close enough. So we have the margin for safety. And if that fails, we can bring up another fuel pod and dock that with our lander and then bring those back to the station. So we have possibilities. I am not worried. Booyah. 364. Yeah, I don't have enough. But we'll do as much as we can here, and that'll make it easier for everything else to work out. Oops, don't want to burn now. Got an hour to wait for that. Oops, overshot a little bit. Not a big deal. Yeah, we are out. Still at 168. Alright. And that is fine. So we will need to bring up another fuel tug anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Just a regular launch and rendezvous, so I will see you after I jump.